There are so many. That's actually really menacing. Everywhere you go, there's just more super bots around. I would like to stop taking radiation damage, please. Or they take it away from me because they don't like my medicine. Rat away. Free radical. Freezing rat away? What does that do? Rat away is stronger now? Okay. Cool, but also weird. Oh, it's at 127. Oh my god. Oh wait, I should check it how strong. Oh, it's 40 now. Okay, so 3 was great. 3 was perfect. Okay. Why did a barrel fall down here?
You've carried out Caesar's will, but I must confiscate your equipment again.
Do you though? Keep holdout weapons. What are those? Sure, here you go.
You're free to leave.
What is a holdout weapon? Do I have one? No. That was a pointless choice then.
You may go.
We'll see whether or not it might have been a better
Some of
choice.
the slaves have been spreading stories about the burned man again.
We'll see whether or not it was a better choice to just load my save or just start swinging. Why did he think that I did Caesar's will if I upgraded the machines instead of destroying them? It's the exact opposite of Caesar's will.
You must enter Caesar's tent alone.
Oh my god. Okay. How'd you even know about them? They weren't even here. Oh, there he is.
Okay.
True to Caesar.
I felt the ground shake a while ago. I'll take that as a sign you've got the job done. There are rewards for doing as I command. Today, your reward is vengeance. You get to decide how Benny dies. Go to Benny. Let him know what you've decided. My Praetorians will perform the execution, unless you want to perform it yourself.
Thank you, Caesar.
Consider it the first of many bestowments.
Ding! Who's next? Honestly, given how, let's see, barter, blah blah blah, all the weapon options are mostly dumb. Medicine would be kind of nice. Yeah, medicine makes sense. In fact, I kind of want to pump up medicine even more. So, I am a master of my own body.
So, baby, what did you find down there?
Hundreds of Securitrons. All of them upgraded now. Just like Mr. House wants.
So, all this time, the old man had an entire army on layaway? Clever player. Just imagine the look on Baldy's face when those Securitrons come pouring out on Judgment Day. I'd pay to have that bronzed. So all you gotta do is talk to Yes Man. Figure out how to set things in motion. Make Vegas a town I would have been proud of, baby. Let it swing.
I have to decide what happens to you now.
I see. And how's that gonna happen?
We'll fight in the arena, fair and square.
Machetes at 20 paces, hey? I accept your challenge.
Let's do it.
You're a class act, baby. Not to say I'm gonna make it easy for you.
Oh, you don't need to. If we get machetes, you're fucked. You had a much better chance if this was gonna be unarmed. Oh, you're so fucked.
Aha!
Backslash. Oop. Backslash is R. There we go. Camera. When the duel concluded, your regular equipment has been returned to you. He's hacking and whacking and slapping. Fuck. Gonna hack, whack, chopping that meat. Butcher Pete's got a long, sharp knife. Maria. Is it good enough for arcade to use, maybe? You say my stuff's been... You say my stuff's been returned to me. Where's my fucking hammer?
I know your kind. You die easily enough.
Where's my hammer? Where's my hammer? My hammer. My hammer. My hammer. I believe that guy has something to say to me. No, he doesn't. He's not running here. Okay. I got all turned around from the arena, I guess. Can I have my hammer back? I would like my hammer, please. Will Caesar finally talk to me? I want to get in his head about what his deal is as a faction and whatnot, since he's not really... He's refused to talk to me basically so far.
I'm sure you found Benny's demise pleasing. The destruction of an enemy? There are few things more satisfying. Let's press on, shall we? As I was telling you before, I want Mr. House out of the picture. You have an interest in his death, too. If he knows that you destroyed his gadgets beneath the fort, he will strike back. You know where to find him. How he dies, I leave up to you.
I have some questions to ask.
What did you want to know?
Are your bodyguards special in any way?
My Praetorians embody the martial ideals of my legion. Each one of them has done enough conquering and killing to deserve the rank of Centurion. Instead, I invited them to join my guard. So the invitee chooses whichever current guard he thinks is weakest and challenges him. The fight is to the death. It keeps them from getting complacent.
Centurion, not the pronunciation I expected. How long has Lucius been head of the Praetorians?
Lucius has been the head of my guard for 5 years now. He was a subordinate guard for 8 before that. No invitee has dared to challenge him yet. Maybe it's an issue of respect. He is getting on in years. What?
Tell me about Vulpes Inculta.
Vulpes is the best of my frumentari. A remarkable individual from an unremarkable tribe south of the Utah. He was brought into the Legion as a boy, survived training, fought well enough as a legionary to be promoted to the rank of decanus. Then in battle against an unimportant tribe, he broke ranks and led his contubernium through a hole in their defenses to capture its chieftain. Well, his Centurion wanted him crucified for disobedience, so I made him a frumentari.
That was a lot of words I don't understand. What do the Frumentari do?
Whatever I require. Infiltration, assassination, dramatic atrocities to break the spirit of the enemy.
Breakdancing.
They're mentally flexible. They operate behind enemy lines for extended periods, imitating the enemy's customs without becoming sullied. In all these things, Wolpus is a master.
He's extremely flexible, if you know what I mean. How did you capture Benny?
I'll hand it to that piece of shit. He was determined. He used some kind of old-world stealth device to get across the river in a Legion boat. Seems the device ran out of juice once he got here, but he was dressed like a legionary. He was caught just outside the weather station. See, thing is, he didn't change his hairstyle. To go to all that effort and fail because you're too vain to mush your hair.
What a way to lose. You fool. You could have made it. What happened after Benny was caught?
He was brought before me along with the platinum chip. That's how I knew he wasn't some kind of profligate infiltrator. Benny tried to sell me a story, but Lucius has a way of coaxing the truth out of captives. Everything just comes spilling out.
I've heard rumors of your legate Lanius. What's his story?
Linnaeus is the greatest of my battlefield commanders. Some might call him a great man, but I'm not sure he qualifies. Once, he was the greatest warrior of the Hydebarks, a tribe of the Arizona. Maniacal in battle. Sometimes he'd ambush Legion patrols by himself. When after several months we found and surrounded the Hydebarks camp, their chieftain raised a banner of surrender. The warrior, who was not yet Linnaeus, went insane with rage. He struck down his chieftain and attacked his own tribe.
What happened when Linnaeus attacked his own tribe?
He killed 15 before they brought him down. He didn't die, obviously. I had him tended to. He was maimed, most of his face torn off. It was days before he regained consciousness. When he did, I went to his bedside and showed him the helmet I'd had forged to cover his face. I said he could have it if he'd fight for me. He accepted, on condition that he be allowed to kill the surviving males of his tribe. I said, make it the adult males, and you have a deal.
You had to negotiate him not killing children. Oh boy. Rad, edgy backstories for a bunch of people I'm gonna kill in 2 hammer swings later, but he sounds more like a savage than a general.
Linnaeus is savage. Savagely loyal, too, but only
Savage
to me.
AF.
He has no love for my legion. But this has its uses. He has no attachment to his men, no compunction about battlefield losses. All he cares about is destroying the enemy. When another legatus or a centurion fails to achieve results, I send Linnaeus to make things right. His first step is to beat the failed commander to death in front of his assembled troops. Then he orders the ritual of decimatio.
That's when you kill 10% of the people. What is decimatio?
It means decimation.
Yeah, I know.
But in ancient Rome, the word had a very specific meaning. A punishment for cowardice. The legionaries are lined up in ranks. Every 10th man steps forward and is beaten to death by his brothers. It instills a certain robust obedience.
Linnaeus will lead the assault over on Hoover Dam.
Yes. This time my legionaries will be more frightened of the commander behind them than the enemy before them. There will be no failure this time, no retreat, no years of gathering slaves and resources for another assault. With Linnaeus to drive the Legion forward, the dam will be taken. It will be our bridgehead across the Colorado.
Why did the Legion lose the first battle?
It's not going to happen again, that's all I have to say about it.
Not an answer. I heard the commander of the first battle was called the Burned Man.
And I've heard it's a bad idea to tempt the wrath of Caesar. Change the subject.
What do you think of the NCR?
Do you want my opinion as a former citizen or future conqueror? Actually, my opinion's the same either way. As a young man, I was taught to venerate President Tandy of Shady Sands, the founding mother of the new California Republic. Did you know her presidency lasted 52 years? And that her father, Aradesh, was the Republic's first president? Does that sound like a democracy to you? Or a hereditary dictatorship?
Damn! There does tend to be a reason why you instill term limits, although our system's pretty fucking chaotic too in its own way. President Tandy. So from my understanding is that Tandy is a character that you rescue from the cons in Fallout 1, but I didn't, so I never met her. But she's supposed to be like a relatively important character in these games. So this is supposed to be a noteworthy reference that I get on some level. Although I don't think the average New Vegas player played Fallout to begin with, honestly. Because I don't think there's that much continuity throughout the series of people playing the original Fallouts and playing the new Fallouts because of how different they were and how much later they were released in such a different context. Definitely people were interested, and people that did play the original games were psyched to be here, but I think there was a huge spike in player base in the newer stuff. But I have never met Tandy, and I think she might be canonically dead in my Fallout 1 playthrough, because I did do the quest where you save people, but I never met Tandy. So I think she might have just randomly died in the background of one of the fights somewhere, and I didn't know that she was important enough to like load a save or anything, because I didn't even probably notice she existed, honestly. But I do remember saving some girls from the cons, like at the beginning of the game. President Tandy was voted into office each time.
Because the council didn't dare oppose her. She was too popular. She had the people's love. So things ran smoothly, more or less. And as soon as she was gone, as soon as there really could be democracy, what happened then? Ever since losing its queen, the NCR has been weaker, more diffuse. Democracy has been its weakness, not its strength.
This is all very akin to like the scene of like House of Cards where where Putin shows up, and it's this dynamic between a person that wasn't House of Cards, it might have been a different show, but just the dynamic difference between somebody that's like this really long-serving leader versus someone that comes and goes every 4 years, and how like there's just a different like tone between the two. How is the NCR weak? These are stupid questions.
Greed runs rampant. The government is corrupt, accepting bribes from Brahmin barons and landowners to the detriment of citizens. The NCR is a loose conglomerate of individuals looking out for themselves. It's lost virtue. No one cares about the collective, the greater good. It's not built to last. I'm just hastening the inevitable.
Oh no, the poor citizens. Sir, you have slaves? It's like, congratulations, you say correct things about the NCR, but then you're you, so... Once again, same problem. Surely the NCR is a powerful foe.
Of course. The most powerful my legion has faced. Also the first to which I am ideologically opposed. Until now, every tribe I've conquered has been so backwards and stunted, enslavement has been a gift bestowed upon them. My conquest of the Mojave will be a glorious triumph, marking the transition of the Legion from a basically nomadic tribe to a genuine empire. Just as my namesake campaigned in Gaul before he crossed the Rubicon, so have I campaigned and will cross the Colorado.
What do you know about Mr. House?
I know he's a coward, hiding behind an army of robots ensconced in that tower of his like a wizard in one of those Grognak comic books. Some say he's a man, others a machine. I don't care. He's in the way.
You did it! You did it! You gave us Tumblr bait! Oh my god. I can see it now. Someone in 2010 on their Tumblr drew Caesar just cuddled up, just reading comic books. Like this, he's all, I'm so tough and hard, and I know shit, pop culture references in the post-apocalypse. I know about Grognak, the comic book series. So that means you have to imagine him reading those comic books. It's just very funny to think about.
What?
What role will regional powers play in the conflict?
I've analyzed the region's tribe to determine how they might be useful. I may tell you more at a later time, if it suits me.
How did you rise to power?
Ironically, I was born a profligate myself, a citizen of the NCR. My family lived not far from the Great Boneyard. After raiders killed my father, my mother sought the followers' protection. I was 2 years old. She found work at their library, cooking and cleaning. I learned how to read, and soon I was taking courses, free of charge.
You were a follower of the apocalypse?
Oh yes, raised in that tradition. And the teaching stuck. I was taught it was my responsibility to bring the torch of knowledge to the wastes. I may have taken the torch part more literally than they intended.
Yeah, I don't think this is quite what they had in mind, buddy. I don't think you took the right lessons from this group. What changed you from a follower to a dictator?
When I was 20, the followers sent me east to Grand Canyon. It was my first expedition. Just me and a physician named Calhoun. As an anthropologist and linguist, my assignment was to learn the dialects of the Grand Canyon tribes. What a fucking waste of time.
Why would learning dialects be a waste of time?
If you think it's worthwhile to make smart people learn how to talk like backward savages, you're a follower of the apocalypse. Or an idiot. Anyway, we met up with a Mormon missionary who already knew a bunch of dialects. Joshua Graham. He was supposed to teach me. But before that went too far, the Blackfoot tribe captured us to hold us for ransom. They were a backward bunch. But the real problem was, they didn't know how to fight.
What was wrong with the Blackfoot?
The Blackfoot were at war with 7 other tribes, each just as pissant as they were. But outnumbered like that, they weren't going to last long. It's one thing to be taken hostage, another to be lashed to a sinking ship. So over Calhoun's objections, I decided to take certain steps.
What steps did you take?
I taught them how to use the guns they already had, how to strip and clean them, how to breathe when pulling a trigger, how to reload ammunition. They looked at me like I was some kind of a sorcerer. So I taught them how to make explosives and started drilling them on small unit tactics. If there's anything I learned as a follower of the apocalypse, it's that there's a lot of good information in old books.
What happened after you trained the Blackfoot?
Divide et impera. Divide and conquer. I led the Blackfoot against the Ridgers, their weakest enemy. When they refused to surrender, I ordered every man, woman, and child killed. When next we surrounded the Kaibabs, and they likewise refused, I took one of their envoys to the Ridgers' village and showed him the corpse piles. This was new for the tribes, you see. They played at war, raiding each other, a little rape and pillage here, a little ransoming there. I showed them total warfare. Like I said, there's a lot you can learn from old books.
What happened to the tribes?
Kaibabs joined me, and the Fredonians after that. All the pissant tribes with names that should be forgotten. I knew from the start I'd need to eradicate this plague of tribal identities, replacing them with a monolithic culture, a uniform identity. So that's what I did once my confederation of tribes was large enough. I crowned myself Caesar and created a single great tribe, my legion. I sent Calhoun, the follower captured with me, back west with a message that I should not be interfered with. Joshua Graham, the Mormon interpreter, stayed with me and served as my first legatus.
Big fan of destroying entire cultural identities and histories here. Just swallowing them all up as manpower or nothing else. And since forming the Legion, all you've done is conquer other tribes?
That's right. Decades of warfare, absorbing lesser tribes, gathering power. Forging the dross into a vast, razor-sharp scythe. My Legion's expansion has never ceased. Much of the Utah and Colorado and all of Arizona and New Mexico are mine. We have cities of our own, but nothing compared to Vegas. Finally, my Legion will have its Rome.
I don't know if Vegas is that impressive, honestly. It kind of seems like a mess. The part that's doing well is real small, real small. Why is Caesar's Legion so strange?
I used Imperial Rome as the model for my Legion precisely because it was so foreign, so alien. I'd seen what had become of the NCR's attempts to emulate the culture of pre-war America, the infighting, the corruption. Rome was a highly militarized autocracy that effectively integrated the foreign cultures it conquered. It dedicated its citizens to something higher than themselves, to the idea of Rome itself. In Rome, I found a template for a society equal to the challenges of the post-apocalyptic world, a society that could and would survive, a society that could prevent mankind from fracturing and destroying itself in this new world by establishing a new Pax Romana.
You know that it was the expansion of Rome that directly tied to its collapse, right? The thing you're trying to do? Going too far and spreading yourself too thin? What does Pax Romana mean?
It means a nationalist, imperialist, totalitarian, homogenous culture that obliterates the identity of every group it conquers. Long-term stability at all cost. The individual has no value beyond his utility to the state, whether as an instrument of war or production.
So you'll destroy the NCR because you hate its inefficiencies?
No. I'll destroy it because it's inevitable that it be destroyed. It's Hegelian dialectics, not personal animosity.
Sweet name drop, bro. Hegelian dialectics, what are those?
How do I put this basically enough? It's a philosophical theory, the kind you might encounter if you took time to read some books. The fundamental premise is to envision history as a sequence of dialectical conflicts. Each dialectic begins with a proposition, a thesis, which inherently contains or creates its opposite, an antithesis. Thesis and antithesis. The conflict is inevitable, but the resolution of the conflict yields something new, a synthesis, eliminating the flaws in each, leaving behind common elements and ideas.
So what's dialectic about you and the NCR? I don't think this is what this means.
The bombs wiped the slate clean. Human civilization descended to a level of ignorance that effectively set our cultural progress back to zero. The NCR has all the problems of the ancient Roman Republic: extreme bureaucracy, corruption, extensive senatorial infighting. Just as with the ancient Republic, it is natural that a military force should conquer and transform the NCR into a military dictatorship. Thesis and antithesis. The Colorado River is my Rubicon. The NCR Council will be eradicated, but the new synthesis will change the Legion as well. From a basically nomadic army to a standing military force that protects its citizens and the power of its dictator.
He brags about reading books, but I'm not actually sure if that made any sense. What is that machine in your tent?
It's called an autodoc. As the name suggests, it's an automated physician, more or less. He can treat broken bones, cuts, punctures, scrapes. Sometimes I bestow its use upon someone I favor. Makes for a powerful gift in a culture that forbids painkillers and is largely ignorant of medical science. What?
I'll eliminate Mr. House for you.
Good. Don't know what kind of security he has inside the Lucky 38, but if you can find a way of catching him off guard, do so.
I won't, but I said I will. Which is like... well, it's enough to get me out of here with my stuff. Presumably. Just been hanging out back here? I still wanted to meet you guys, technically. The auto dock. Primarily used for routine surgeries, however, the diagnostic scanning unit is burnt out, rendering its auto dock useless. Oh, it's busted, so it doesn't even work. So it currently can't save anybody. But maybe, just maybe, I don't know if this is actually a path or not, but the fact that it's here makes me think you can do something with it. I wonder if you can sabotage it or in some way use it to kill Caesar in an accident. Hmm.